Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 135 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Jake.
Hello.
And Shane.
Hey.
Yep. That's how you speak, Shane. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's how you intro a podcast. This week, we've got a little bit of news. Some Baldur's Gate stuff's going on at the moment. People are talking about the 1 year anniversary. Borderlands put out a movie. You might have heard of it. And Warner Brothers just doesn't know how to fucking make a game, apparently, or how to publish one. But first, as always, we're doing the show live on Twitch. I've got a few people in the chat. Hi Moonzom. Hi Keo. If you are interested in hanging out with us and seeing the show live, Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi. Hang out in the chat. Shitpost. We try to interact as much as we can. But let's get into our community question from my good friend Isaac, who has a bit of a two-parter. He says, hey guys, Achievement Hunters Anonymous, never heard of them. No, Achievement Hunters has the achievement fixes area where they post games that have achievements that are working again. Have you guys ever had any games that were unobtainable that became obtainable again? And then also, which games or achievements would you like to see fixed someday? Thanks for the show. I don't know. Anything?
Yes, I'm sure I've had things become obtainable. I can't, I tried thinking of them. I think Project Cars was one. As soon as I pull up my list, because I just went to pull up my list, is the monthly or whatever one was unobtainable, and then they're back, and then I went for it right away and got it, which was awesome. So that was cool. I know there's a few others that were things like it was obtainable and I didn't go for it, and then it got discontinued because of a botched patch, and then they fixed it again. That's a dime a dozen, tale as old as time. But nothing specific that sticks out. And then for games I'd love to see fixed, I still have Locke's Quest on my wish list, and I see it go on sale all the time, and I'm like, man, do I really want to buy a game that is never gonna get fixed? And then I bought fix that. Yeah, I would too. And then Necropolis was a game I was super hyped about on when they were showcasing it. I thought it looked like the sickest game ever, and I picked it up on launch because I thought it was super cool. Never got around to it. Eventually found out it had it unobtainable. And that one is never getting fixed because the studio is gone. They out of there unless somebody buys rights to it. Bootix.
Patreon.
It's never.
Let's do it. Hall of Gamers. We'll buy it out.
I'll put that on the stretch goals for donations for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shane, anything spring to mind for you?
Recently, Watch Dogs. They fixed the 360 servers.
That's right. Yes.
So the matchmaking was broken, and so I was able to go back and knock that out. Thank God, because I've already got plenty of unobtainables. The other big one was UFC 2009. When they fixed that, I remember seeing that at work, and I was stressed. I'm like, this might go down anytime. So I had to run to GameStop. Thank God they had a second copy, so I could double box it myself. And then I ran home and just boosted that achievement as quick as I could. It was a gold medal. It was like some kind of challenge thing, and it had just been broken. And I assume it's something with a server reset. Something happened, it fixed for a week. And I had it that first day, though, so that was good enough for me. As for things I wish they'd fix, Homefront.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Magic Duels, I was also about to finish. I needed, not even 10 more daily quests. Would have been done with that.
Yeah. I was about 100 off, but, still, same. But I remember we were doing that, every day, and then it just gone one day.
If I'd done it, see, the problem is, if I'd done it every day, I'd have it done. I was going on vacation and I was playing other things and I just forgot. That is 100% my fault. I could have that game 100%. Forever regret that one. But that'd be great if they brought that back. That'd be nice. Those are the two ones, especially Watch Dogs and Undisputed UFC. I'm so happy I got those done. Man. But I agree with you, Jake. I'd love if they fix Locke's Quest. That'd be awesome. I remember that on the DS. That was a DS game, right?
Well,
I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I really wanted to play it. I never got around to it. So when it came out for achievements, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely getting, because it's a Kojima game, I believe, right?
Soft
Is that
Cell, I
the,
think, are the ones who made it.
it's got some big name claim to fame. That's why it was on my list or like on my radar to begin with. But either way, I really want to play it on DS.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, Kojima made the DS game where you had to bring on the sun to charge your cartridge
Oh,
and
with the
like use
vampire one.
that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was a game. It
Yeah,
was a GBA game. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, though, right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember
That's
that
one.
one.
Yeah,
That's one.
the
Anyway,
game
either
that
way,
made
Lost
no
Quest was
practical
also on my
sense.
list. It didn't make any. Well, I mean, that's Kojima. I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
he's like, we're gonna put a light sensor, make those kids go stand outside in the sun, and they're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, no, Lock's supposed to be quick. I love that fix because I love playing old games I never got around to for achievements because that's the only point in playing video games
Yes.
now.
The only place that looks to be achievement list completable is Steam, but it is completable somewhere.
Oh, okay, that's something at least.
Those aren't real achievements, so you know they need to fix it.
That's fair.
Shane is
That's
such
fair.
a fucking achievement elitist.
He's not gonna let me talk about my completion this week.
No,
Is he, or what
he's
what
actually
I
just
was
gonna-
playing
Oh no,
this
we're
week?
cutting this off early.
In the
As soon as
call,
Jake gets to
yeah.
that, we're gonna no, cut it off. Cut it off. Cut the feed.
Well,
cut
yeah,
the
we'll be
feed.
like, all right, Jake, what have you been playing? And then we'll just cut to the end screen, and that'll be the end of the show. Yeah,
Yeah.
cliffhanger ending. Yeah, I was looking at my list of actual straight up unobtainables that I can never get, and the only ones on that I can see, I think, are the 3 DLC achievements for Indivisible, as Cameron pointed out in the on the Discord. Are the ones that just like if they came out, they've never worked, they'll never get fixed because the company went under and all that sort of shit. And I know there's been pushback trying to get it fixed for years, but I'm definitely don't have much hope. Discontinued, I definitely have a few. Most of them are a huge pain in the ass, but it's things like Homefront, for example, is a good one. I've missed all the online for that. There is a game called Scourge that was
Outbreak.
yeah, Scourge Outbreak, yeah, which the online just went down out of nowhere, unfortunately, which was annoying because I was hoping to get a group together for it at some stage. It was a 360 non-backwards compatible, one of those ones I would be working on right now if I could. Yeah, and that's, I mean, the one that's annoying me at the moment is obviously the auction house in Forza Motorsport 2. I'm working on that game quite a lot, and it's just one of those ones that I could have gotten if I'd had the game and kind of been aware of that kind of stuff, but yeah.
I'd love Forza 6 to be brought back online too. I forgot.
Yeah.
I have everything else that you can possibly get in the game, but like they just typical turn 10, they let the game just kind of fiddle out, and then they never fix it. They never like officially shut anything down, it seems like. They just like
Just
the server breaks and they don't ever go back and kick it. As he probably all needs is a nice little kick. So yeah, I'm looking at my list of discontinued. That's like the one. Everything else is stuff I can care like never doing.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th or Sea of Thieves, so I don't care.
Oh,
but,
yeah, right, of course. Yeah, those Sea of Thieves.
Or Neverwinter.
Neverwinter's a bit of a weird one too. I mean, most of those are unobtainable just by my skill level. Yeah, and the other one that really annoys me still is it was a game called, I think, Extraction or something. It was a Windows Phone, Windows 7 game that they released it for Windows 8 for like $1. So I picked it up, but one of the achievements crashes the entire game. So
I think I did one of those.
So I got every other achievement except for that one, and I had to avoid triggering that achievement, which is for like getting like 50 critical hits or whatever. So I had to play the game quite badly to avoid it, because every time I hit the criteria, the game would crash. And I even emailed the devs. I tried everything. They would not fix it for Windows 7. Sorry, for Windows 8 phones.
Traction Project Outbreak. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, it was an okay phone game, but it was really, really disappointing to have that be the thing. Because I discovered that pretty early when I first bought my Windows 8 phone because I was looking for cheap games to play on it.
Chilling No. Yeah, they made a lot of scuffed games. I did their Jet Set Go and Parking Mania games, and they were rough.
The biggest thing is that it wasn't marked on TA as partially discontinued or unobtainable or whatever, because just not a lot of people had played it, and everyone who did play it had played it on like Windows 7 and not Windows 8 phones, I guess. I tried it again when Windows 10 phones happened and all that sort of stuff, but I just not no luck anywhere really. So that's my one Windows Phone game that I wasn't able to complete.
This is me finding out live on this show that my lazy ass, who never finished a 1 to 2 hour completion that is Gang Beasts, apparently currently has a bugged achievement.
Really?
Yeah. I was just looking at my partly discontinued and passed through 3 road signs in the truck stage, long haul. I was like, what do you mean this is part? How? And there's comments of August 4th, still not working. July 26th, achievement doesn't work. I'm gonna look at the recent winners.
That's Double Fine as a publisher. I think they'd probably end up fixing it, I bet.
Yeah.
Somebody got it yesterday. It must be like, I don't know. Maybe that's
Double Fine's,
and it's just like super
isn't that
buggy.
first party now?
Yes. Yeah, they're owned by, yeah.
Okay, so that's at least far more likely they'll end up fixing it.
Apparently partially discontinued. I was looking at.
It doesn't seem it doesn't sound partial.
buggy.
It sounds buggy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
That game was buggy to begin with, though, to be fair. A lot of that stuff took quite a few tries.
Yeah. Unless it's like a trigger where it, like, the trigger can never be triggered again.
Yeah, right. You
if
get it
you
once
try it and don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Ugh.
maybe that's the case, but apparently they're working on a fix. Sounds like June 19th. Fortunately, this is a bug we're currently aware of and working on a fix for. When we're ready to release the patch with a fix, and we're happy with it, we'll make an announcement on our usual social media channels. So,
Live breaking news on Hall of Gamers. It might get fixed. Maybe.
Yeah. Breaking news: Gang Beasts is down. I still haven't finished that game because I don't know why. It's a baby game, 1 to 2 hour completion. I just.
Isn't that on Game Pass?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So if it's double,
Yeah, I'm not sure if it still is.
well, if it's Double Fine published, you'd think it'd be on there again,
True.
or will be at some point.
Yeah.
No, it still is. It's still on Game Pass.
All right. Well, then, yeah.
I'm just a piece of shit.
Yell at them. They'll fix it.
Is what it comes out to. No, I started for G Task, I think, and everyone was yelling at me to finish it, and I just never did. It's not super fun.
No, I'm totally with you on that. I also mentioned kind of in the chat in the Discord that that like other unobtainables, usually it's the like get all achievements unobtainable thing that's usually broken in most games that I play.
I'm so glad I've never run into that.
Yeah,
that'd tick me off.
Yeah,
to no end.
Thankfully, they usually patch it, so it's not like the end of the world. They're usually pretty quick about it. Even I was thinking about picking up the new Star Wars Bounty Hunter port, but apparently that has an unobtainable achievement in it, but like get all achievements things. So not super thrilled.
That developer's really knocking it out of the park, aren't they?
Yep.
I saw that too. Yeah, I'm sure that one will get fixed though.
Yeah, definitely. I know that
that's the thing. It's like you can have that conversation about games you wish would get fixed. Feels like every game. It feels like a game a week, if not more, is launching with a broken achievement. And it's like those usually get fixed.
Yeah, they're usually pretty quick about it. I mean, I think was the Star Wars Battlefront had a similar issue with the re-release. Then they fixed that. So
not like that.
I mean, the game wasn't great to begin with, but is what it is. Keo in the chat in the Discord was talked about Dawn of War 2, the game's Windows Live functionality. Would be great. So a few of those have been removed because I think that game was Steam only. Darksiders 2, the little online achievement for sharing gear or whatever it was.
Yeah, those are the ones that seem to go first, right? Is like sharing something with your friend, like something that interacts with your friend list.
Something that needs a server. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Share a picture.
Like Apples to Apples. I always wanted to do that game, and they shut off like all those games with the Facebook functionality. Those all get knocked off quick.
Yeah. No,
I think that's the same reason I haven't done the Connect Teenage Mutant Turtles game, is as a Facebook achievement.
Right.
Doesn't work anymore. So
a discontinued achievement I'm proud to have that people seem to always want is Fable Anniversary Smart Glass achievement.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I got that one. That was
yeah, I really wish I could do that game. It'd be great if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nearly time for them to re-release the trilogy, right? It's been long enough. All right.
Get hyped for the Fable?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's kind of what I was thinking, is that like I think they had, Fable, those all 360 days, right? Fable 1, 2, and 3. So the re-release of 1 and then
the Connect one.
And the Connect, yes, and Fable Journey. Yep, that's true. So yeah, it's probably about time for an HD remaster. Why not?
I'd do them again.
Yeah, me too. I'd play the hell out of them. All right, we got a little bit of news this week. This will probably be a quick one, but apparently Baldur's Gate 4 was apparently going to be a thing. I mean, like, I know, like, duh, of course,
Sure.
Baldur's Gate 3, one of the most successful
Yeah.
games of all time, they're going to do a sequel. Well, apparently, there was some expansion that Larian was working on that was going to become potentially Baldur's Gate 4 if it became big enough. And then Larian was like, "No, we're not going to do Dungeons and Dragons anymore. We're going to do some new shit." Still,
I think we're bored over it.
yeah, which is, again, we never quite got clarity as to why they left the D&D franchise, especially when they were working on something for them. There was all those rumors around that it was them D&D fucking around, or Wizards of the Coast like doing, or Hasbro doing like shitty things, but apparently that wasn't the case.
That would be their way.
That's what, yeah, everyone, that was the theory, right? But I think they came out and said that that wasn't the case and that people need to calm down.
I'm sure they did.
But like, bro, like what would make you want to leave this franchise? I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 was a smash hit. It's been a year since it came out and people are still talking about it.
Probably just do something different, you'd think, right? Like, how many times do they have to make the NPCs and player characters bone that bear in testing and things like
That's true.
It's probably years.
That's
and
true.
they did Divinity, and I mean, they've been doing fantasy for a while.
Yeah, that's
so
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
I was gonna say, with a studio as talented as Larian, I honestly would love. I'd love to see a different setting from them too. Honestly,
For sure.
I think it's a good thing overall that they want to do something different.
They did confirm that the next thing they're working on isn't Divinity 3 or Original Sin 3 or,
Yeah.
which is great. Yeah,
New IP would be sick.
that would be great. I think if anyone's earned
Over under on sci-fi.
that would be my.
That's
exactly.
exactly.
I was like, yes. I was waiting to be like, yes. They need to fucking make a game with goddamn spaceships in it. Like, let's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100% on board with that. I'm sure it would still be an RPG, but yeah, I would.
I think that's like the only thing that almost makes
Baldur's Gate in
sense, right?
space.
Yeah. It's like, how is sci-fi so like adjacent to fantasy? I guess it's because it's all
Because
fantasy.
it's fantasy.
Yeah, it's still fantasy.
It's fantasy, just
with laser guns.
spaceships.
Yeah. So interesting.
It's not fireball, firefall. It's pew, 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 you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm super about it. Like, I'll play just about anything Larian makes. Like, I was a big fan of the Divinity series, but even before Original Sin, good old Ego Draconis and all that, even though they were a bit ropey. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd be really curious kind of what happens with it and what they do. Just sort of some quotes there saying something that everyone would have liked, but we actually went down pretty fast. Production was still warm. Everyone was like, oh, cool, we could play stuff, but decided, did they really want to make this like the next 3 years of what they work on, which I think is fair enough. Especially considering that it took them 6 years to make Baldur's Gate from early access and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, but yeah.
Do you like Divinity a lot there, Matt?
I think it was really interesting. It wasn't like I've played a few, like it had several stacks and then it had the expansion version and stuff. I think it was a really cool, interesting idea in the similar vein of like the Gothic series, that sort of stuff, where it's like gonna not like not AAA budget Dragon Age style RPG. It's more sort of mid-budget, smaller experience. But I liked it for the most part. I had some problems with it, but I think the story was kind of interesting and kind of there was something there that was really great. But obviously Original Sin was the one that really, Original Sin and Original Sin 2 were the ones that really sort of got people super interested in Larian as a developer.
They were super into it.
Yeah. I still have Original Sin sitting there that I do need to play, but I know it's going to be a real struggle because that game is not easy.
I was so confused, man. I did Ego Draconis forever ago. It was like, oh, I'll complete this quick, and I did that, and I hated it.
Really?
I really hated it, 100%. And then Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and everyone loved it. And then I realized they made this game. Oh, okay, so I'll do the Dragon Knight Saga and try it. All right, still hated it. I don't understand. I don't get the hype. I was like, this is horribly boring. But at some point, I gotta try Baldur's Gate. I played one of them back in the day.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
even been the first Baldur's Gate.
the originals, yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know.
I have been playing a little bit of 3 recently because I only have about 4 achievements left to get in it, but they all require another full playthrough. So I've been trying to do a bit of a another speed run Dirge playthrough, but it has not been going very well. So we'll see how that goes. I would be really, really good to get the game done, especially considering they're not putting out any more content for it, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still sitting there with the remakes, the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 that I want to go through. And now I know those are going to be rough too. I think those are like insane, massive completions.
Yeah, 150 hours, yeah.
Yeah, Planescape Torment's one of the games I want to go back and get done. That's one of those games that I played as a kid and I never finished. That I'd love to go back and get all the achievements in.
I really enjoyed Torment Tides of Numenera, the spiritual successor to Planescape.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really interesting and good. Like I love that game. It's almost too overwhelming though in terms of like options and all the kind of stuff you can do in that true sort of CRPG fashion.
I remember that about Planescape. I was like, this is... it broke my brain. Like, I was really little when I played that game. I'm old. And then, like, I didn't have a computer that could barely run it. So that's another game where I don't think I made it past the first area.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Like, I remember there's like a skull or something, right?
The skull that wakes up with you.
He was Yeah, and he's an a-hole. And that's all I remember. Because my computer could barely run it. So I'm like, oh, this is okay, I guess. I'd rather go play Animal Crossing some more or something.
One of my favorite things about Planescape was that skull, he reads the tattoo thing on your back that gives you the instructions of kind of what you're supposed to do. But he doesn't read the last instruction. Because I remember you find out this later in the game when you get someone else to read it. Because the last instruction is don't trust the talking skull. Which is just perfect. Like, I love it. It's one of those things where it's like you just listen, because you listen to him implicitly because you have to, because you have no idea what's going on when you start.
Listen, I play Graveyard Keeper. You never trust the skulls. Don't trust talking skulls. Just don't.
Also, in the vein of Baldur's Gate 3, part of the reason people are talking about it is because it's the sort of 1-year anniversary. They released a bunch of fun statistics. There's a big thread on Twitter about it with a bunch of infographics and all that kind of stuff. Apparently, 1.9 million people were turned into cheese wheels. There were 3.5 players paid a visit to some friendly dinosaurs. There is a lot, yeah. There's ones about how many people had sex with a bear. Some people around
important
classes and romances and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. So of the 658,000 people who slept with Halsin, who's the druid, almost 200,000 of them chose to have sex with him while he was in the bear form. All the most important stats.
Yeah,
and apparently everyone wants to play Paladin. Everyone loves playing Paladin, and everyone loves playing Elves. So it was really cool. They had a breakdown of classes and races and everything like that. Apparently no one plays Wizards. So
is there a couch you can have sex with in that game, or
no? Well, I mean, they probably mod that in. I don't know. People have been going crazy with the mods for.
You never know. I mean, really reaching out there, spreading out their, spreading out their audience. You never know.
Pokemon, go to the polls.
Oh, don't. Mm-mm.
That's the thing that happened.
Cringiest things I've ever heard in my life. Yes, I'm aware. Just let's not talk about that.
There's some crazy stats in there, so I definitely recommend going and looking at the whole list. I won't read it all out, but yeah, if you're interested at all in Baldur's Gate 3, definitely check out some of the fun stuff that they've found as people who played through the game. Yeah, that game is just fucking fantastic. I've seen Alison play through it twice because she's a huge fan, and there's so much to it, and people are still talking about it. People are still playing it a year later, which is crazy for a single player offline RPG.
Oh, but single player's dead. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Yes. No one wants single player games anymore. Yeah, apparently, according to EA.
It's till God of War, Spider-Man, and Baldur's Gate, and on and on and on.
They're gonna keep trying to make games with the service a thing until the studio shuts down.
Yep.
Or until to
the heat death of the
I bet the whole thing with Rocksteady has opened everyone's eyes. Maybe.
Maybe we should
maybe we should not.
I'll actually maybe.
Do you think
Yeah.
you'd think Anthem opened everyone's eyes. Like you'd think there's so many examples that you'd think would finally make people
Yeah,
realize, we should stop
I haven't played
doing
Suicide
this.
Squad yet, but Anthem I ended up getting around to. It wasn't terrible, and
Sure.
that probably would have been fun with friends.
I'm
But
sure
I feel like
not.
Suicide Squad's a level up from that, even with the monetization and the way they really wanted it to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
So I haven't gotten to it yet. So
to your point, Jake. Though, like I think it's the same reason people play the lottery every day, every week, right? It's like yeah, we're gonna lose most of the time, but all you need is one huge fucking success, and your business is like sorted. You know, they just want one cash cow. Unfortunately, they're
Mhm.
destroying a bunch of great studios, and you know,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. To be fair, the blame is not solely on Warner Brothers for the lack of success of Suicide Squad, because apparently there was just a management issue throughout Rocksteady for all that shit too. If you read through the sort of expose
Right.
Sure is.
afterwards.
I
a
mean,
shame.
that's a tale as old as time. It sounds like these days. It's just, yeah, the game flopped because the publisher
Like
was overreaching and the developers, none of them were interested, and no one knew what they wanted to make. And it
Yeah,
was
Like Callisto
we're hearing
Protocol
that
just
story
came
a
out that
lot.
they got rushed too. Like
yeah. There's been a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
news around that. Yeah, Warner Brothers is it's probably a nice transition to Warner Brothers having a bit of a rough time in general. So they're looking at potentially splitting out their entire
Good.
business once again. Maybe selling off their entire gaming division, and maybe their DC stuff as well. They I'm trying to find where the story was. So Warner Brothers sees a 41% year-on-year drop in Q2 gaming revenue due to Suicide Squad. And the top comment I saw on that was, if only everyone had told them. If only everyone told them that this was a huge fucking mistake.
we don't want this. This is not what we want.
Yeah.
None of this.
So yeah, that it is not going well for them. But it looks like Warner Brothers might be splitting up again in general. Maybe Discovery being its own thing again, because they just have some big debts to pay. Which I feel like we had this conversation, 6 months to a year ago around Microsoft potentially acquiring NetherRealm Studios and the kind of Mortal Kombat things, and bringing all those fighting game genres in house. But yeah, I don't know. It does not look.
So
good.
I saw the article on TA saying like, oh, Xbox is sniffing around. There's no way Microsoft would give Phil Spencer the money to buy
No,
this studio, right?
fuck
Like
no.
there's no way
No.
already. No way. After how long all the litigation with the Activision acquisition was, and the fact they haven't turned a profit on that, probably there ain't no way they have yet. Considering Black Ops 6 hasn't come out yet. So, or whatever they're on. Like, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems really
No.
weird for them to go like, yeah, here you go, Phil Spencer, have some more
Like
money.
unless they get it for
We
an
didn't spend
absolute
enough yet.
song,
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of what did they pay for Bethesda? 16?
Yes,
Way less.
way less. Yeah, it was. I'm actually gonna look it up, but yeah, like it was. I mean, it obviously was a decent amount.
I said million. It was definitely a billion number. It was with a B for sure.
I'm pretty sure it was like the largest acquisition until Activision.
Yeah, they got it for
Yeah.
they got it for 7.5 billion, and they reckon they were worth about 10 billion.
Pennies.
Yeah,
Yeah. They'd probably have to start making some big return on investment before Microsoft would start handing them more money.
yeah. I think the
I
performance.
mean, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, the performance of the new
Real
Black
soon.
Ops is probably going to be a big indicator as to Microsoft's future direction for acquisitions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things being on Game Pass and tiering and all the kind of stuff we've talked about in the past. I think, yeah. But
I want to see how Perfect Dark does too. I saw
Yes.
what they
Ooh.
showed at
Summer Games Fest.
Summer Games Fest.
E3, yeah.
E3, right?
Key
It
three,
piqued my
Key
interest. Key 3. It piqued my interest a lot more than it initially was. So
yeah, same.
I don't know. I just want to see more of what Microsoft's doing with all these studios they bought over the last couple of years. I still don't feel like I've seen the return yet.
I mean, I
as a
totally
gamer.
agree. I 100% agree. I mean,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
we're still waiting on things like South of Midnight and that Clockwork one that's being worked on by An Exile, and we haven't heard anything from Double Fine in years. It's
I mean, at least everything they've
Speaking
shown does look good.
yeah.
speaking of not having seen anything from all these acquired studios yet,
Mm-hmm.
segueing directly into the next story,
Oh
Avowed
boy.
officially delayed till 2025.
No
Yeah.
one saw that coming.
I did not see this coming. I have to admit.
Really?
I've been militant about the fact that Indiana Jones is the thing that's going to be delayed because that was
I was
supposed
gonna say that. Yeah.
that was supposed to be the thing. Like whenever you saw it on the flowchart, it was like, hey, we've got Hellblade 2 coming out mid-year, then we've got Flight Sim, and then we've got Avowed, and then we have Indiana Jones. But now if Avowed is going to get pushed, I was like, that. Yeah, there were rumors about it last week, so we kind of talked a little bit about it there. But like, it has now been officially 2025. They said it was to give players breathing room to launch.
And that's
Bullshit, right? Like that's like I don't even know why
that's
they
PR
bothered.
talk.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I could see it because I mean, we talked about it last time I was on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
We literally talked about how this a ton of games were getting pushed back into the winter November launch window.
yeah,
And we talked about how wow, this is becoming really a really claustrophobic launch period. So I mean, I could see some truth to that where they're like, okay, there's a lot of stuff launching in November. Let's push it a little bit.
I agree, and I expected something to get delayed, but I absolutely thought it was Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I did not think that game was coming out this year. And I guess it still could get delayed, but it looks like they're actually going to have it this year, which is shocking to me, honestly.
yeah.
I would have
I
probably put Avowed as safe as not getting pushed as like Flight Simulator. Like those seemed like a lock. They were coming out.
We also saw a lot
So,
more of Avowed. You know, they've shown off that game quite a few times.
Yeah.
Both like gameplay
Yeah.
wise and everything.
I think it's smarter because
Yeah.
I think Indiana Jones is going to be a more bite-sized game. So when you have all
I
these
hope so.
releases coming out week after week after week, I feel like Indiana Jones is going to be like a game you can beat in a week. I feel like Avowed is not looking to be that game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure Baldur's Gate launched in a spring launch window. Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
Yes.
I think so did Elden Ring, and so did another one was like Hogwarts Legacy, I guess. So I think it makes more sense to take a bigger game and release it in a less dense window of other games.
Yeah, I definitely I do agree
Shocked there was
from
that one.
that perspective, and I think that I'm definitely not annoyed about the delay in general. Like I think that game developers should have as much time as they need to make the games that they need, right? And if the game needs more polish and needs more time, because they didn't officially announce a release date for either of those games for Indiana Jones or Avowed at this point. There was that
Yeah.
there was that little leak thing that was on the Avowed page of like November 18th or whatever, and then they quickly got removed. So there was no official release date, but they did say this year. And so the thinking was, okay, well, if Avowed's coming November, that means Indiana Jones must be December, which is a weird time to release a big licensed third party IP that they've been pushing a big part of their marketing on as an exclusive.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be sending it out to die if they do that.
Right.
That would be a bad choice.
That's kind of my thought too. So either Indiana Jones is probably going to get moved up to November, or it's going to get delayed as well. I don't know.
Which there's no
I think it'd
way
be-
they can't delay two.
Yeah. I think it'd be unwise.
How
to
hard they're
delay
pushing everything?
another one.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at they on their tweet they basically were like, hey, so many games are coming as such. We're moving Avowed to February 18th, 2025 to give players backlog more breathing room. I mean, I'll take more breathing room for my backlog anytime, but stay tuned
too.
for more games across Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studios at Gamescom. We kind of mentioned that'll be August 23rd, so hopefully we maybe hear a little bit more about some of this information here. But what they have announced, first party stuff coming, they've got the World of Warcraft expansion in August, the end of this month. Age of Mythology comes out early September. Ara's History Untold comes out in September as well. And then October they have Diablo and Black Ops 6. And then Flight Sim in November. But everything else on that list, Indiana Jones, the Shattered Space expansion for Starfield, Towerborn, Avowed, South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Ages, and all Fable are all like TBD dates, but most of those are 2025 at this point. And they have "and more" at the end of the statement. But like, I don't know. That doesn't seem that packed, to be honest. I mean,
it could be PR smoke. It could be them just blowing smoke to give more time. But even if it's not, like, I mean, I don't know. I think it makes sense. Like, but I mean, I'm also always in the camp of like, yeah, give me more time to work
for
on
sure.
shit. But
For sure.
yeah, I could see that as a valid reason. Is to just give players more breathing room between big releases.
Yeah.
Because not even just
wanna...
just Xbox, like also
that's
just
true.
like
there is
PC
all
releases
third-party
and
stuff, and yeah, you're
PlayStation and so like Nintendo. Like yeah, like there's a lot going on every.
I mean, if we parse through the PR talk though, so what do we have this year? It's Flight Simulator, Indiana Jones, Avowed, like before the delay.
Yeah.
Is that it, pretty much?
And then I guess
I mean,
yeah, Shattered Space, the expansion stuff for Diablo.
yeah, expansions.
But yeah.
But like, if I was a marketing team, I feel like I'd be like, yeah, push the one that no one knows. We want to do Flight Simulator, which has been around since what, the 90s, and Indiana Jones. Like that's gonna be, I don't know. I feel like it. Obviously, we know that their whole backlog thing is probably just PR talk, but I wonder how well Avowed was testing compared to the other two.
That's true.
In like hype levels to sell Game Pass and make a point for all these acquisitions and everything else. And November is that usually that's what usually when Call of Duty comes out, isn't it? Or is
It's
it
October this year, but it's end of October.
Okay, so yeah, I bet it's October Black Ops, and then November, late November, probably
Flight Sim and
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones at the end of November potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
because that's still TBD too, 2024.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, exactly.
We don't have a date for that.
That's the thing that's always raised my eyebrows is like we haven't even had a hint of a release date yet. That every trailer they've been very, very
we don't
clear.
get one in Gamescom, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, Gamescom is pretty much when they have to announce it, I think.
Yeah, they're pushing this really to the edge here.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, like it does kind of give off maybe a small vibe of they don't think Avowed is going to be able to beat the competition of other games releasing in November, which is like interesting to think about. I hope that's not like what's on their mind, but
yeah.
Well, like
something to consider. I suppose.
I think the other thing is that we were when Summer Games Fest happened, we were talking about like all these things that they announced were all like 2025 games. Like the Fable stuff they showed off, the Doom stuff, South of Midnight.
Yeah.
But again, they said 2025. They didn't give us like a quarter or a season or anything. I'm wondering if they have a very light Q1 for next year, and they're like, actually, we kind of need a bigger hitter in that February space to capitalize on. Traditionally, when games get delayed, they get pushed to February. February's usually pretty stacked, actually.
Yeah, lately, last like 5-6 years.
Yeah,
that's a heavy.
Yeah,
I mean
February, March. I mean, like
it's hard to think about because by the time we get to Game of the Year, there's some recency bias. But man, yeah, there's been some banger.
Yeah, I mean,
fall or winter time periods recently.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like even like Elden Ring was like a February release, I think it was a couple of years ago, and Resident Evil 4 was a March release. Dragon's Dogma 2 was a March release this year. Like there's
Dead Space remake, right?
Yep,
I
believe so.
Yep.
So they're definitely like the early parts of the year usually have something in there of stuff that didn't make it. So I can see it being Avowed. I mean, Flight Simulator has to come out this year because they fucking put 2024 on the title. So that would be really awkward if that came out in February.
Locked there.
But I think it kind of means that like when we look at like Doom and South of Midnight and Fable coming out next year, that those are going to be much later in the year. Like we aren't talking.
Yeah, those will be like the holiday headliners.
It would be like this time next year we'll be hearing about those. I think. Like I don't know. Maybe Doom will get a. I get the feeling Doom looks like it's further along, so maybe that's going to be a March. Oh, no, maybe not March, but like maybe.
Yeah, I would say March.
Maybe May
before summer.
April, May, sort of summer release. But I don't know it. The last couple of weeks I've been like curious as to like if I pitched the idea about a month ago of like if we had to make a game of the year list of stuff that's come out so far, like what would be on it, and I'm very curious to hear about like what else might show up that might change that list over the end of this year, because like I'm somewhat interested in Black Ops 6. I'm somewhat interested in Diablo 4's expansion and Starfield's expansion, but everything else here, Indiana Jones is really the only one that I'm like, oh yeah, that's my one interesting exclusive release this year that
I hope it's good.
I really do hope it's good. I mean, I do like machine games, but it's been a while since they put out, a game that I really, really enjoyed.
All it's got to be is Uncharted.
Yeah.
With the Indiana Jones skin, it'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I got to do.
But that little corny, Indiana Jones is like a little bit of corniness to it. And the trailer
Yeah.
they showed at E3 definitely looked like Indiana Jones.
They seem to have the tone pretty much perfect. It's really going to come down to the gameplay. Speaking of things releasing badly, or no, let's go. Let's do a different note. Speaking of movie IP, Borderlands movie is out, or it's getting out, or it's coming out, or it's I don't know.
Oh boy,
it's getting reviews. It is currently sitting on Rotten Tomatoes score of 0%. Not a single person who has seen this movie has enjoyed it. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, it looked terrible from the get-go. I remember seeing the trailer. I saw Borderlands movie. Cool. Watched the trailer. I was like, that was the fastest my enthusiasm for anything ever has ever been. Like, I was like, this is terrible.
I'm a pretty
Just
big
from the casting.
See, I saw the casting first because that's what everyone saw, and I was like, Kevin Hart, huh? All right, and Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm like, okay, they're all good actors.
Sure,
I'll give them a chance. And then the first trailer came out, and I was like, that's not great for a tone piece. But I still thought it looked okay. And then they started releasing more trailers, and I'm like, oh no, this looks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't look the CGI, the writing, the acting, it doesn't look good.
I genuinely feel like the biggest thing was just the casting. Like, they're good actors, but they were just terrible for those roles. They just they missed the mark entirely. Completely. Like, if the roles were cast better, it would be at least, I feel like, a little bit more salvageable.
I don't know. I try to put all aside all that because I started seeing like story details, and I'm like, they have changed so much. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It still could be good, but yeah, it was just the trailers. Like, Kevin Hart could have been a good Roland. Kate Blanchett could have been a good Lilith, maybe, but the writing, man, it's so bad. Like, it's so bad.
It is currently sitting at 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I guess someone liked it. Maybe one person thought it was all right.
See, it's funny. My friend, her husband and kid just went and saw it, and they came home and they like loved it. But then he also liked Green Lantern, so I don't trust him.
I see.
But yeah, it just looks bad. I'll see it at some point, and I'll report it, I guess, in a couple months, a week when it's on streaming. But I have zero hope for it. It looks so bad.
Terrible.
If you're looking for an afternoon of silly goofs, great costumes, fun action, and Kate Blanchett showing up to work, you could do worse than Borderlands. All right.
Yeah, from what little I've heard, Jack Black and Kate Blanchett are the highlights.
Right.
And then everything else is bad. Which is funny because of all the things I saw in the trailer, I think Jack Black was like the main, like, oh, that's not funny.
It's not great.
Jack Black's great, but this Claptrap's not funny. Oh, he's pooping bullets. Oh, yay. That's great.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it because I went and saw last weekend. I went and saw Wolverine and Deadpool, which was
me too.
Fucking great. And so the trailer was playing.
Yeah, I saw that last weekend.
Yeah, it was great.
So good. And they got me reading. I started reading comics.
Yeah, right. So right. I was fucking every 5 seconds I was Leonardo DiCaprio meme being like, that's the Wolverine thing from that one. It's like, anyway, I don't want to spoil it obviously because people need to go and watch it, but yeah. So this was one of the trailers.
Listen, they had their 5 days. Okay.
I literally got a Marvel Unlimited subscription because of that movie. I've been reading comics literally nonstop ever since. Yeah.
Damn, I gotcha.
You're a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Get out.
I got a tablet coming tomorrow, so I can read them on a bigger screen.
Oh Jesus!
I'm stoked. I'm so stoked.
We kick him off. Just mute him.
Just mute him quick. We'll slowly turn it down, so it's not really noticeable.
Oh, we can't hear you, Jake. What's up?
So we're going into a tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, there was like the whole piss gulch thing or whatever, and I was like, man, like Borderlands humor resonated with me when I was the age when Borderlands 2 came out. Like Borderlands 2 in particular, I think is like probably the best one, right?
Yeah,
and like
that's the highlight.
I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, I thought it was super funny while also being very, very juvenile. But also, like, I used to listen to a podcast for the guy who ended up being the lead writer of that, so like similar sort of idea. But man, the movie just like there was nothing appealing about it at all. I just couldn't believe how much they missed the mark. And it's a fucking Eli Roth movie, and it's PG-13. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, that was gonna say like that's the other down. It's PG-13.
Like
did
what?
they not play Borderlands?
The whole thing is supposed to be.
It's so funny
crass and shit.
because we've been on such a high of video game adaptations lately, like Fallout, Super Mario, Last of Us. Like it's just been banger after banger, and then they're like, oh right, they can be terrible too.
Here's this movie to remind us of our place.
Yeah.
All the way back to the original Resident Evils.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch the first Resident Evil over.
I would watch
the
Resident
trailers,
Evil over
so.
these.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Easily.
I mean,
I'd
I'm
watch Doom
hoping I watch
over
it and go,
this.
this is hilarious, but no way. Which one?
Doom.
The
Doom
Doom
was rough.
movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The fact that I didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
know
there's one
how
with Billy Butcher in it. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh
And The
yeah.
Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock, I was insane.
So weird. That's pretty much it for news. Outside of there's a couple of things. Apparently, Max Payne 1 and 2 remake is in full production over at Remedy, and that Control 2 is like in a playable state, so that's looking good. Still probably won't hear about those for a little while yet, but it's great to hear that they're still trucking along because I'm excited for both of those. And there was just an interesting story there that just said Anthem taught BioWare that it should focus on what it's good at. Dragon Age Veilguard director says. No shit.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, look, I'm of two minds about that, where it's like, yeah, like I don't feel like a studio should have to do the same thing over and over and over again, and they should be able to take other swings and stuff, but Anthem was not it.
Yeah.
Game was great. Game of the year.
Yeah.
I'm still so nervous for Dragon Age.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That is a big release this year, though, so I have Inquisition still installed, so I need to go back and finish that, but yeah, I mean,
I just like...
It's very good.
It's supposed to continue the story as the whole Dragon Age saga has since the first one, obviously. And just from playing 1, 2, and Inquisition, and then watching trailers for 4, I always forget what they were calling it.
Veilguard.
I'm just like, how are they continuing this story? Are they even anymore?
Yeah,
like,
well, it's supposed to be
really
basically,
concerned.
if you played, I don't know if you did the DLC for Inquisition.
Yes.
But so that they're like Trespasser and Descent and all that sort of stuff is basically like directly on from that. So it looks like from the thing that we saw at the start is, but well, I mean, fuck it, that game's ancient. So the whole thing with Solus is basically leading right into the beginning of Veilguard. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm nervous for it. I want it to be good, but
yeah, I'm definitely going to wait on reviews. But I don't know how long I'm going to be able to hold out because I know Alison want to play it immediately. So I probably will. Probably will pick it up pretty quickly. All right. I'll quickly go through the Game Pass updates because there's not a huge amount in there at the moment. So August 7th, we had Creatures of Ava join, which was kind of like a Pokemon-inspired game, but instead of fighting like a cockfighting ring, it's more like collecting, like helping the animals and working with them and like getting abilities from them, which looks kind of cool. I think Shane, you said you were going to probably preview that one pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna probably do that retro. I'm done with this.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious because that seems neat.
Yeah. I'm really curious to hear a bit more about it because it's definitely on my to playlist. August 8th, we had Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy finally hit the long rumored Activision Blizzard game. I had started it this afternoon, and I'm excited. I'm nostalging a lot, but that game is going to be hard. Doom 1 and 2 got a re-release in a package, which apparently has console commands, and people can finish it pretty quickly if you plug in a keyboard. So looking forward to doing that. Also, but you can play through it like regular. It doesn't have like a complete the whole thing on Nightmare like the other versions do. So it looks like it's going to be a much easier completion in general. And then August 13th, we have Mafia Definitive Edition, which I highly recommend. Really, really good game. Just a absolutely fantastic remake, top to bottom. Does get a bit... It suffers from the other thing that Mafia games do, where once you're done with the story, the open world stuff is really, really fucking boring. But that's just kind of a bit of a staple of the open world genre, unfortunately.
Is that the one with porn in it, or is that the second one?
That's the second one. The second one has the Playboys in it.
Yeah. All right. I'll play the second one. That's
Yeah,
fine.
second one's also good. And then leaving, we have Off-World Trading Company on Windows. We have Texas Chainsaw Massacre, both the Xbox and Windows versions. We have Airborne Kingdom and Shadow Warrior 3 Definitive Edition. You got about 5 days to finish those. Shadow Warrior, I would definitely recommend. It's a relatively inoffensive, well, I say inoffensive, but inoffensive in that it's not difficult. Not inoffensive in that its humor is very fucking offensive. But, yeah, it's from the era of Lo Wang and Duke Nukem. So, enjoy. But I actually did enjoy the game quite a bit. It kind of has a bit of a Titanfall style first person shooter, like wall running parkour, quite mobility focused, a lot of fun abilities to play around with, and shooting and swords and shit. And yeah, it's a little bit light in terms of what's actually coming to Game Pass. It seems like they've been holding their cards a bit closer to their chest than usual ever since they announced Modern Warfare 3 last month. They haven't, usually we have a better idea of like what's coming towards the end of the month, but hopefully we hear something soon. We also have our monthly theme, which is nearly there, where we've been trying to get people to go back and complete games that you have at least 80% of the achievements in already. Try and clean up that backlog, go back to those challenging games, make some progress. I've been working on a few myself. A big one for the Moonzom has been killing it with Rare Replay recently. He's been really, really trucking along in that game. He's got a lot of stamps to get, but he's making great progress. I think he's up to like 92% or something, which is fucking amazing because that game's a big undertaking. That's pretty much it, I think. Let's get into what we've been playing. Shane, you've been playing a bunch of stuff, right? Because you haven't been busy or anything?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I might as well start because mine's going to be really quick. So I was in Florida for 2 weeks. Instead of gaming, I was sitting on a beach.
To be fair, the pictures did look nice.
Yeah, no, I got plenty. And I'm like the most Mexican I've ever been. I can't see because of the white light, but I actually have a tan now. I'm brown a little bit. It's pretty great. As a white Paxing Mexican, it's fantastic.
I wasn't going to say it, but I'm glad you did.
No, I can say it, you can't.
No, exactly. Yeah,
So
no,
don't
you're right.
even.
You're right. That's fair.
So I kept my streak going. I played the Windows version and the Switch version of Minecraft. I would literally wake up, crawl over to the desk where I had my stuff, get an achievement, and then drag myself out to a beach for hours at a day. So, didn't play much. I did get back 2 days ago now. I jumped on Front Mission Evolved, is what my game I was working on. Now I gotta boost it, so that's back on the back burner. I did expect that to be a third-person shooter.
Yeah, right. From the artwork, it definitely looks like it, right? If you don't know what Front Mission is, yeah.
Yeah, I played Front Mission, so I was like, okay, I've been putting it off forever. I just didn't look at it past the achievements. I was like, okay, I'll get to this, whenever I feel like strategy. Right before I left for my trip, I got invited to a boosting session to start the multiplayer. So I was like, okay, I'll start it. And immediately I'm like, this is not what I thought it was. So yeah, it's a third-person shooter. It was very inoffensive. It was pretty easy, even on hard. The checkpoints are very, what are they looking for? Very generous. I finished the story mode last night, the campaign. Yeah, the collectible guides are really bad as always online because I don't like using video guides. But and these are like really open areas, so it's like turn left and then look down at the building with the white stripes on the sides, and then look up to the right. Hey, it was such a pain. Most of my streams like I hate this guide so much, but yeah, I finished that up. I have a second copy coming, and if it comes tomorrow, I start my double box boosting with someone I found online, so I can finish that quick. And then I got to pick something else to play now. I don't know what to play. But that's pretty much all I've done.
Don't worry.
Oh, no, I don't trust you people. You just started Crash Bandicoot. I'm not. No. If anything, I'll go through your list and find something you haven't finished that I think I can do, and be like, oh, I'll do that one.
Yeah, fair.
No, I actually bought a bunch of 360 games right before I left. Some non-backwards compatible.
Yeah.
But I made sure they were all under 10 hours and doable-ish.
Smart.
So I'll probably dig into one of those maybe.
That's great.
Oh, and I'm gonna actually play new games. I'm gonna get Visions of Mana when it comes out in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Buying that day one. So excited. And then I'm gonna get the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster when that comes out day one. So I'm actually playing new games for once. I can't wait. Besides Redfall, of course, because that was Game of the Year. But for now,
still haven't played it. Still need to get back to it.
It's easy.
Yeah, well, I could play something mindless for a bit. I will just touch on a couple of things. I have not been playing a huge amount. I finished the Modern Warfare 3 campaign and was pretty disappointed. It was not great. I mean, it was fine, but like Call of Duty have had a long time to get their campaigns really, really good. And like looking back at like even the original Modern Warfare ones and Black Ops stuff, like the campaigns obviously have not been a like focal point for the series for a long time because that's not where they make the money. But I was hoping for a bit more than what I got. The open world missions were just kind of not great. But I went back, did everything on Veteran, got all the collectibles, got the sort of miscellaneous achievements. It wasn't too bad. There's a couple of okay missions in there, but it really very much felt like an expansion piece to Modern Warfare 2. And
I heard it's like the maps are in like the Warzone maps.
Kind of, yeah. So you have like there's 16 missions in the game, and like I think 1, 2, 3, maybe like 5 or 6 of them are basically they just drop you into a map and they're like, hey, just go around and do objectives in this one square map we need to do. And if you die, you don't get many checkpoints, and you don't like want to. It's kind of like they're kind of doing like a sneaking mission. Actually, this is something I wanted to bring up. A lot of them feel like maps that could have been ripped straight out of Hitman. In terms of like they drop you into a level,
Things like that.
which is weird. But I just was like, hey, this is kind of like. There's like one where you go into like a beachside mansion with cabanas, and then like a security station, and then like a underground thing. And I was like, this really does feel like a Sapienza map that they've just kind of tweaked a bit. Because the whole thing is that like you just get into the map, you got to find equipment on the scene, and then complete objectives and sneak and try and basically do it stealthily if possible. So it was kind of weird and interesting in a way that I was like, oh, okay, it's not very good. I didn't really enjoy them all that much because I much prefer the more linear sort of story-based, actually crafted stuff, rather than just getting like swarmed by enemies from all directions because you fucked up and didn't shoot someone quick enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just I know the reason for those maps is because they just didn't have enough time to develop the game and it got rushed out. Because I think they were supposed to have, I think Black Ops was supposed to come out the previous year or whatever, and they were supposed to have another year before Modern Warfare 3, but it just kind of didn't work out that way. But it's fine. Campaign was okay. Like and now I just have to do a shitload of Modern Warfare zombies or whatever. Moonzom says he hates it. Yeah, I played it for a little bit, was incredibly confused as to what the fuck is going on. For context, the last zombies game I played was probably Black Ops 2, so it's been a long time. So like there's a shitload of objective stuff, there's zombies, I'm fighting mercenaries, there's like portals and shit, and I've had some guy who was like level 700 team up with me and just run me through a bunch of shit, and I had no idea what was going on. And then I had the exfil, and it was, yeah, he gave me like a super pack-a-punch ray gun that I immediately lost because I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know, it was weird. I need to probably like spend some time actually playing it, maybe get a team together, because I think there's an achievement for beating like the final boss thing with 6 people. So, but it's on Game Pass now, so I guess everyone has it.
Coming from Black Ops 2 Zombies, because that's like also probably the last one I did. I also did World War 2, I guess, a little bit too. But like looking at any zombies after Black Ops 2 is like intimidating to try. Like I'm like, I don't want to get it. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. I was. I mean, I get it, right? They need to do some. They want to change up the formula. They don't want to do the same thing every time. Totally fair. I get it, right? But I just think it's. I might have skipped.
It's totally for the fans for sure. You know, they're pandering to their fan base, which is what you should do. But it's like for a jumping off point, it's like coming from the old ones going to the new ones. It's like, holy shit, this is a shock.
Really could have used a tutorial or something. I know Keo's in the chat talking a little bit about it as well. We might try and put some teams together and do some runs. And I know that you can skip some stuff if someone's already unlocked the final boss. You can actually like jump into a party with them and 5 other people and get the achievement, save a bit of time. But you still need to kill 50,000 zombies for one of the achievements anyway. So I'm going to be there for a long time.
Gross.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's going to take up a bunch of space on my hard drive forever. So I've just got to slowly work away at that. Other things I was playing, been playing Forza Motorsport 2 again, still just kind of working on it. Nearly done with the online. I'm at like 800,000 credits and I need 1 million, so a few more races will do it.
You got the auction house before it went down?
No, God, no. unfortunately. So I'm never going to be able to complete it, but I will try and get as much of it done as possible. I do still have to do like the time trials and the kind of exhibition thing. So I do have to be somewhat good at the game a little bit. So I'm doing a bit of those every now and then, but most of it is literally just running endurance races with a driver, getting 55%, like getting 45% of the credits and buying cars. So that's just taking hours on hours on hours, but it lets me play other stuff in the meantime. And the main thing I've been playing this week has been Dungeons of Hinterberg, which I think is fucking great. Shane, did you preview this one? What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was neat. It definitely is a game that I'm gonna probably jump on when it leaves Game Pass. I thought it was pretty cute.
Yeah. So I started it this week and I finished it last night. It's not a super long game. I think it took me 16 hours or so. I probably could have done it like a little bit quicker, but I was taking my time with it a little bit. It's a really nice mix. So the game is basically Zelda in terms of like very much in terms of they have 25-ish dungeons. They have about 25 dungeons that you go into, and every dungeon has slightly different mechanics, and there are 4 different areas, and every area gives you 2 different spells, like an active spell that's like a projectile, and then like a environment changing spell. So like one of them is like throw an air blast at an enemy, but you can also use it to pick up things and throw them, or you can create a tornado that lifts things up, including yourself, to like get to higher ledges or to get over obstacles and things like that, or to even bring things to you. So it has like all the dungeons have like relatively basic combat. It's kind of got your standard Z targeting. You get put in an arena, you circle around an enemy, use abilities, use a bit of magic. It, like I said, it's very reminiscent of those 3D Zelda games that I love. And I had a really, really great time with them. It does wear maybe a little bit thin. I was hoping for maybe a bit more variety. It kind of gets a little bit samey. And that's kind of my issue with the game overall, is that it has a lot of really interesting ideas. But it feels like they're a little bit shallow. They don't, it feels like there's something, maybe if this was a bigger game, probably had like another step to them. So the other side of this game is every day you do a dungeon, or you can do a dungeon, you don't have to. You can actually just literally find like a relaxing spot on the mountain to go and chill out and just have like finish the day up, and it gives you like a permanent health boost. This game is like relatively easy. It allows you to take as much time as you need. You're on like on a vacation doing this. You're on like, it's like a slaying vacation out in Vienna or whatever, or Switzerland. And so you get there, and every day is like, okay, cool. You do a dungeon in the day, and then in the evening you go out and talk to people, and you have conversations with people, and you just kind of hang out with them, do like little small quests with them, and they give you like bonuses and abilities, and they also increase your social stats, and your social stats can reflect some items. For example, you don't get the true potential of their stats until you hit a certain rank on the social stats. So it's kind of like an interesting push and pull of like, you can spend a lot of time in the town and like meet people and like do that kind of stuff and get your stats up and get your abilities and unlock charm slots that allow you to like have passive bonuses and get new equipment and things like that. And then you can go into the dungeon and do the dungeons. And
so it's boyfriend dungeon.
Like that's kind of very much a much more sort of expanded, and actually like the thing about boyfriend dungeon was that the date stuff was quite shallow and kind of like the characters weren't all that interesting, and the dungeons themselves were very just like isometric mash on enemies. Where like this is much more puzzle based. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be like Zelda meets kind of Persona in terms of like social links.
I was thinking too when I was playing it.
Yeah, and I really, really enjoyed it, but it felt like I wish there was maybe a bit more to the characters and a bit more to the dungeons and a bit more to the combat. And every area, like I said, there's 4 different areas, and each of them have 2 different spells, but there's no like crossover. Like it would be really interesting if they had allow you to keep the spells that you learn rather than only being able to use them in each area. Because I feel like there could have been some fun synergy with puzzles, and maybe got a bit more like the puzzles are relatively straightforward. Like they're not like brain dead, but they're still relatively straightforward. I didn't have really any trouble with them. And it does have like, you can play it on like tourist difficulty, and the enemies are really, really easy. And there's also like a no death assist if you really want to put that on, not that you really need it. And each of the dungeons has like a rating of difficulty on them to give you an idea of like how often, which ones you should be doing. You can repeat dungeons. Like it's very, very accessible. I love the art. The story is relatively light, but has like a level of kind of underlying intrigue. I maybe wish there was just a little bit more to it. It's definitely like a 9 out of 10, but I think the thing that just stops it is that like the level of complexity is probably just a little bit too simple. It's definitely like half. It definitely leans more into the cozy game side of things as opposed to like a more traditional like action adventure.
Yeah, I never felt like when I was playing the first hour, I'm like, I never, it never felt like it was really trying to be hardcore. It is just cozy. In fact, I remember thinking, man, I wish there was a place like this. I'm about to go on vacation. Like, I'd love to go fight some monsters and in the
Yeah.
mountains. It'd be great.
Yeah, it's yeah,
Oh,
and it was really nice. I
city.
like, yeah, I really the scenery, like the art is beautiful and the music's nice. Doesn't have any voice acting, which is fine, but it just yeah, it feels so close to being like a really really like. I mean, I will definitely recommend this to everyone. I think everyone should give this a go. I think it's accessible enough that everyone will probably have a pretty good time with it. But I just feel like I wish there was just maybe a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I just started right before the show was the Crash Insane trilogy because I got challenged to do it when it entered the Game Pass. Oh boy, it's going to be a fun one. I just beat Ripperoo, so I'm kind of playing through the first game at the moment. Beat the first two bosses, and I was like, cool, getting the gems, trying to get one of the colored gems. There's got some fun quality of life improvements so far. So that in the first game, for example, originally, if you died in the bonus level, you couldn't go back into it. They let you go back into it now, which is nice. And if you died in the first game on a regular level, all the boxes you had collected would be back. So essentially, if you wanted to get a gem in the original game, you had to do the level basically perfectly. Thankfully, now it's like, actually, if you have all the boxes and you hit a checkpoint, we just let you keep the boxes. So it's not as frustrating.
Nice.
Unless you're trying to get a colored gem, in which case you need to finish the level without dying. So, which I figured out because I just finished a level to do that. And I was like, cool, I got all the boxes. And the gem didn't show up. And then I jumped into the portal and it said, hey, you did nearly perfect, but you died, so you don't get anything. And so that was just, yeah, that's great. So really, really appreciate that. This is going to be a fun challenge. I'm actually looking forward to playing through them because I've been nostalging really, really hard playing through these games because like the original Crash Bandicoot was the very first video game I ever played. Like my dad rented a PlayStation 1 for me to play that game. And so, like,
Make me feel really old.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't get. I'm 32, so like I didn't get into gaming until a little bit later in my childhood, as opposed to growing up with an SNES in my hands or anything like that. But yeah,
NES.
I mean, look,
Atari.
I might just have to change your name to Crypt Keeper on the podcast there, Shane. But yeah, I'm
Rude.
I know that number one is going to be the hardest one, but I saw there was an achievement for they added a bonus level, a slippery ascent, which is like a bonus level that they deemed too hard to be in the original release of the game. And so there's an achievement for finishing that with all the boxes, and then an achievement for getting a gold or better time relic on it. I watched a video of it. A guy did it in like 2 minutes 30 and was the most insane crack like speedrun shit I've ever seen in my entire life. So I think you only have to beat like 4 minutes 30. So we'll see how that goes, but I get the feeling I'm going to need probably a few replacement controllers for this game. So thanks, Jake. Really appreciate it. Anyway,
He's the one who challenged you to do this.
I did. I told him he could do it. I literally saw. I was like,
You
seen
kick
the
him off
games
the
he's
podcast,
done.
right? Like,
I've seen the games he's done. I don't think this is gonna be that bad. I think it's gonna be fine.
I think I'm going to get most of it done. I think there's going to be a few sticking points that are going to be struggles, but I'm going to get the majority of it done. Pretty straightforward.
You'll get all of it done. You'll 100%.
I am, and like of the levels I've done, I'm already having a fucking fantastic time. Just being like, man, I remember this
That's what
shit,
matters.
and it's so fucking good.
At least it's not Crash.
I think of the three, the first game is supposed to be the hardest to get everything done in.
First one's definitely the hardest. Yeah. They get easier.
Right,
as
at
they
least
go
you're starting
on.
with the hardest, I guess.
Because two gives you the kind of crystal stuff. I'm mostly worried about the time trial stuff because like I don't really enjoy speedrun stuff, but I'll get there. There are video guides. I know I can do it.
No, you'll get it.
You can.
You'll do it. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Just
Jake, what about you? I'm assuming you're going to be starting the game pretty soon.
Yeah. So, yes, Crash is on my list of what is going to be played soon because I told you that if you would do it, I would do it, and I'm a man of my word, so I will do it. I think I've dived it, so I already was committed anyway. But outside of that, yeah, I did. I just literally minutes before we went live with this, I finished Killer 7. A not real game according to Shane. It doesn't count. Garbage trash. Killer 7 on
No,
the
to be
GameCube.
fair, I want to play that.
It was a fucking blast. Suda 51 makes just incredibly weird and awesome and super fun games. And then, of course, after I finished it, I watched like an hour and a half of retrospectives and deep story analysis on the game.
Oh,
Just to try to put a nice bow on it. That's like probably the last of my fake games for a little bit. I'm gonna get back to the actual Xbox stuff. I've also been working on Forza Horizon 5 still. I jumped on that today and finished a bunch of the daily stuff or the season stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't finish all of the events from the previous weeks, so I do need to do an entire. I almost did. There was like a few I missed. I was mostly kind of just doing it for the cars and for the fun of it because I've found the festival playlist actually just really fun.
Yeah, there's some great stuff in those. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't finish all of them, so I'm gonna have to do a complete season. Hopefully, this next one coming up next Thursday when it resets, I'll do that. But now the Killer 7's done, and Forza Horizon is just my kind of whatever game. Next up is Deadpool. We talked about the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, or Wolverine and Deadpool, or whatever. I don't remember the order that it's in. But yeah, the hype for that made me want to play the Deadpool game. I didn't originally really have much interest, but for some reason I was like, yeah, let's do it. Also, it's not available digitally, and an Xbox One copy is stupid expensive right now.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it's like some weird rare thing or if it's just a hype of the movie, but
I think both.
maybe a little bit of both. Bit of column A, bit of column B. I think it's on the up right now because of the movie, but it's probably not indicative of what its actual price would be, but it's still probably pretty up there. So buyer beware if you want to acquire and play the Deadpool game. And then after the Deadpool, I'm going to do Mark of the Ninja Remastered.
Yes.
After that, I'm going to do Lord of Shadows, Castlevania Lord of Shadows, which I'm stoked for. And then after that, I will dive into Crash Trilogy and try to suffer along with Neo. Beat him. We'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
I got a few games in there.
I mean, I do. I'm definitely going to be spacing that game out with a few other things just to keep my sanity, pun intended. But for your audio listeners, no one was impressed by that joke. Yeah, no, but I'm totally with you. I'm definitely going to be spacing it out with a few other things. I need to work once I get Forza Motorsport 2 done. I'm going to definitely work on some more 360 things just because it's time.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do Deadpool and then Crash 1 and then Mark of the Ninja and then Crash 2 and then Lord of Shadow and then Crash 3. That might be a
That's
good
not a bad
idea
idea.
instead of yeah. I'm pretty looking forward to it though. It's been on. I got the Crash Insane trilogy for the PS4 on launch. I played like 2 levels and then like just got distracted, and then it was announced for Xbox. So I was like, well, obviously I'm going to sell my PS4 copy and buy the Xbox copy. And I've had that since it came out on the Xbox. And then I didn't play it until a year or 2 ago. I think probably 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
I dived it, and I still haven't recovered that dive. So this will be a good excuse to get to it. I'm pretty stoked for it. And then, of course, I'm stoked for Lord of Shadows and Mark the Ninja and the Deadpool game. I'll start the Deadpool game tomorrow. That should be a quick one. That's like 15-ish hour completion.
Yeah. And it's pretty fun.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. I've heard decent things about it, so I'm looking forward to it. But if you feel like getting over your weird achievement Xbox addiction, you should all go play Killer 7. Every single one of you.
It's an addiction.
I can stop anytime.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah.
I can stop anytime.
Whether you do achievements via retro achievements on Dolphin, which also, by the way, if anyone wants to get into retro achievement hunting, feel free to message me on Discord. I'm happy to help. I have a lot of resources. I've been very invested in the emulation community for probably a good decade plus now. So if you ever need anything, if you ever want to get into it, let me know. I'm more than happy to help, and I'm more than happy to enable retro achievement hunting because it's been a blast. The last 3 games I've done have all been GameCube games, and then before that was a PSP game, and I've been doing like kind of trading back and forth between retro modern. But if you don't want to do it on the GameCube, it's on Steam also. They did kind of a modern upscaled port to it with no achievements, but it's worth playing even without achievements if you've never played
Agreed.
a Suda 51 game. What is
Good. They're all good.
50? Yeah, they're all fantastic. He did the Number Heroes games. He did Killer is Dead.
Lollipop.
Just Lollipop Chainsaw, which
Shadow of the Dam.
I also just Shadow of the Dam. I just did pre-order the Repop limited run games statue edition of Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, so I'm stoked for that. Killer 7's fantastic. He even says, self-proclaimed, I actually, from my deep dive retrospectives, Suda believes Killer 7 is the best game he's ever made. Like, it is his magnum opus, and he's not surpassed it since.
It is a fucking fantastic, weird thing that didn't. It's the kind of thing you just don't think gets made.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of Suda 51 games and you want to experience his magnum opus, go play Killer 7. I can't recommend it enough. It's one of my favorite games, like, of all time, for sure.
I mean, is it better than the Kinect baseball game he made?
He made a Kinect baseball game. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I didn't know I did that. That's crazy.
I did that one.
I
Oh jeez.
didn't know that. That's
Really
insane.
weird. If I'm not mistaken, you're like an injured baseball player. It's been a while since I did it. You're an injured baseball player, and you're going through an evil carnival against robot animals. It's a Suda 51 game. I don't know what you expect, but it's
That's
Kinect.
incredible.
That was the hard part.
Yeah, right. Of course.
That's incredible.
I'm sitting there throwing throwing as fast as I can.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at a trailer for that. That sounds great. All right, I think that's everything we've been playing. We'll go through the leaderboards. So, in third place, we have Kruger with 6,955. In second, we have Northern Lass with 9,567. And in first place, as no surprise to anyone, Thrash Forever with 15,920. So some lower scores than the previous weeks, but Thrash is still holding up still really holding up the front there with some just ridiculous scores. So congrats to him. Okay. You guys got the Trello open?
Yes, sir.
Jake, do you want to go through?
Opened it, and I'm still not in it.
Wait, I don't know how the fuck you... All right. We'll try and figure that out. Jake, do you want to run through completions?
Happily. The Natalinator finished Midway Arcade Origins and Spartan Assault. Souls and Scars finished Nick All-Stars Brawl 2. Rapture did X-Defiant and Another Crab's Treasure, taking advantage of the very brief window of the dev menu.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. ZNMS finished Death Spank. MIK3IDV. I'm not sure if there's a
McEade? I don't know. I'm slow.
McEade?
McEave, please tell us how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Snoopy Flying Ace. Michael KV finished Another Crab's Treasure. Super Bob finished Another Crab's Treasure. Keo Live at Home finished Wing Commander. Arena in the Moonzom finished Doom 1+2. Congratulations, everybody. Well done.
Yeah, good job.
GG's.
We've also got the word challenge, everyone's favorite competition, where I come up with a game, put it in our Discord channel, and you have to guess what the game is. And if you win $20 New Zealand. So we had Darksiders 2 win with Isaac guessing it last week. So this week I've come up with a new game, and the clue is this game's sequel is on Xbox. Not a super helpful clue, I know, but if I made it super easy, everyone would get it in the first week. So I have to stretch those Patreon dollars as much as I can, so you get one really annoying clue to start with. So good luck to everyone. So once again, the sequel to this game is on Xbox. Now, we've also got our Patreon. Speaking of Patreon dollars, patreon.com/Hall of Gamers if you want to help support the show. Huge thank you to Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natolinator, Mad Lefty, Emerald Awesome, Happy Miracles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pwn, Cavaliers07, Old Mate Clown, Mark Beamer, Glove and Legend, Marsage, or Mace J, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. Thank you so much. We literally couldn't afford to do the show without you guys. I think we're just about breaking even at this point with our monthly expenses. So if you do want to help support the show, we do occasionally do extra content, usually before and after the show when we have time. We haven't had much time recently because we've had very, very busy lives and kind of doing the shows at kind of odd times. And also, we are still looking to record that final episode of the Fallout TV show for episode 8. I know I've been promising it for ages. We just haven't had a time to get everyone together yet because I want to try and get as many people on as possible. But we will have that out sooner rather than later, I hope. And that's pretty much it for the show. As always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Great to see a few people in the chat this week. Now we do the shilling. Jake, what do you got going on, mate?
You can always find me in Hall of Gamers or Achievement Hunters Anonymous, AHA. There are links in Hall of Gamers. Feel free to also add me on Discord, just Jake SD on Discord, or feel free to add me on Xbox, Reptar 3000. Feel free to add me on retroachievements.org at Reptar 3000. PlayStation, pretty much Reptar 3000, pretty much across the board everywhere, gaming related. And once again, feel free to hit me up if you want help with retro achievements.
Great. Shane, what about you?
Firehawk D on Xbox, on the Twitters, on the YouTubes. The only difference is on Twitch, I'm Firehawk D _Xbox because back when I was a kid, I signed up and then forgot my password. So Firehawk D is taken.
Womp womp.
But womp womp. But yeah, that Firehawk D and everything.
Great. And as always, I'm Neomaster on everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord, if you want to find me for whatever reason. All right, well, that's been episode 135. A huge thank you to my co-hosts and to our wonderful community. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.